The funding for this video is provided by the amazing members of my Patreon. Also contributions from viewers like you. Thank you. Yeah, I started from PBS Kids. What you gonna do? Fight me? Anyway, roll the video. Honestly, at this point, I'm gonna need all everyone, not even just white people. I'm gonna need all of y'all working in Hollywood to go learn and understand critical race theory. Because what the fuck? Hey y'all, it's Harriana and I'm back with another video. Hi, hello, how are you guys doing? My name is Harriana. Welcome back to the Pirate Ship, also known as Harry Hook's Pirate Ship. I am the captain. You were not my first date. I don't got no first date because you want to know why. Bring your ear closer to the speaker so you can hear me clearly. Nobody's worthy of being the first date, but hi, hello, how are you guys doing? My name is Harriana and I like to make content based off nostalgia and family and children's entertainment and all the issues that I find within those spaces. So recently, and when I say recently, I mean like a month ago, we basically found out what we already fucking knew, and it's that live action CW Powerpuff Girls series was no longer in the works. And these were some thoughts that I had during the entire time, but when the script ended up getting leaked, I was like, yeah, basically everything that I assumed about this production was basically confirmed. Yeah, that live action Powerpuff Girls is anti-black as hell. And a lot of you guys may not understand why it's anti-black on the surface, but me, somebody who is studying to get their degree in African American studies, I will gladly sit here and explain to you all why it was anti-black to a certain extent. Mind you, the CW is a network that always struggles when it comes to blackness and storytelling in general, but here is a situation where I really think that they wanted to bring diversity in but didn't necessarily do it in the right way, because as we all know, Hollywood is basically ran by white people. They are the majority, and then a lot of these people of color that work in Hollywood, a lot of their thoughts, influences, and opinions are, you know, it rubs off from the white people. So that is just why there's just so much fuckery that goes on, where a lot of people be talking about they don't be trusting a lot of the black elites that work within Hollywood. I get it. I understand your concerns. So one of the first things we're going to just talk about when it comes to why the live action Powerpuff Girls reboot was, you know, anti-black. Colorist ass casting. Colorist ass casting. The casting was colorist. Do I really need to explain this? But Hollywood don't be liking to cast nobody that's darker than a brown paper bag, and even sometimes that's too fucking dark for them, because there are series that I have watched where nobody is like darker than like yellow. I'm not even joking. I'm not even fucking joking. There's so many things that I've seen where nobody is darker than that. And that was the case when it came to this live action Powerpuff Girls series, because there was basically no dark skinned actors that were casted for it. And the two that they did ended up race bending. Mind you, that race bending isn't always bad if it's done well. Race bending was not done well here. We're gonna get to that later, but they race bent the professor, they race bent Blossom, which was another can of worms right there. But Blossom was race bent to be Asian, and Buttercup was race bent to be black, just as well like how the professor was. Both of them were paid by light brights, very much light-skinned actors right there. Hi, editing me here. I just want to make it clear that I did do a little bit more research just to double check, and Yana, who was the actor that was supposedly playing Buttercup, she is biracial. So I just wanted to fact check that. She is actually half black. But pretty much everything that I say in the criticisms when it comes to Buttercup's character and what they chose to do with her, they pretty much still stand. Because as we know, like, Hollywood is anti-black AF. So much of like what they put on black girls, they try to put that on biracial girls, but them just looking different. It's a whole weird thing. But yeah, my criticisms still stand here, but I did want to come in here and just fact check that she's actually half black. So yeah. this is something that I'm not really going to spend too much time on talking about any longer, because there's numerous videos and sources about the casting and colorism situations when it comes to the film industry. Right there, you can just look on the surface, the casting is colorist. Now, aside from that, not really saying that there was colorism within the series, because there is when you look at that aspect of it. But when we get to like the anti-blackness that came with these characters, it's concerning. If the professor was written to be like how he was in the original series, and if you need a refresher on the original series, I highly recommend just watching my video called An Unhinged Breakdown of the Powerpuff Girls. And then you'll understand why this was a problem. So in the original series, the professor is basically like husband goals. He is the kind of man that you want to marry. Super duper sweet, kind, loving. He takes great care of his daughters. Women adore him. The professor is just an all-around good guy. In the live action Powerpuff Girls reboot, after I read the script, and also I did have a friend that worked on the series. I'm not going to say exactly what her position was there, but I did talk with her about this, and she basically was telling me this, and then that script leaked, and I was like, oh shit, this is bad. But basically the professor was written to be in, because we need to get through the YouTube censors, the A word that ends with E, father. He was terrible to his daughters. He was basically like exploiting them. Hey, editing me here. So I'm reading over the script a little bit more, like just to refresh my memory on it, and there is so much wrong with this guy, like what they did with him. Like they made him like a literal dickhead. He is like money hungry, he is fame hungry, and it just kind of beats the entire premise of why the professor created the Powerpuff Girls in the first place, because we all know he created the Powerpuff Girls is because he wanted kids, he wanted a daughter. That's why he did that. But here, the entire motive was different. It was like, oh no, I'm inventing them because I want to make a phenomenon or whatnot. And then he's also a horrible boyfriend to Sarah. Yeah, they put him and Miss Bellum together here. Like, I understand the vision in theory, but like what they did with it here, it just wasn't, it was a toxic relationship. And I understand the nuances of toxic relationships in fiction, but it just didn't sit well with me how they just kind of changed so much about this man. And even just thinking of the relationship aspect, there's a reason we never really saw the professor in relationships in the shows, because he wasn't good at them. Like, he neglected his daughters when he was like dating a woman, and he needed to work on that. And that's part of the reason why we didn't see him date that much in the show, because we really just, the show just wanted to paint him out into like a more positive light. And here they just went the negative route here. But I'm like, if y'all wanted to go this negative ass route with the professor, you should not have made him black. You should not have casted a black actor for this, because he's the only black character in this, and you literally just made him a black buck. So as I was fetching like the definition to come and insert here in the video, it also made me realize something that was a part of this production that I did not realize, and I'm gonna read you guys what the black buck is and then explain that. The black buck is as violent and cruel as the black brute. Moreover, he is characterized as a single African American person who is big, dark, mostly feared by white men, and sexually attracted to white women. Also, like I said, they painted out the professor to be this horrible fucking person, but also his love interest was a white woman. So yeah, it's just kind of like a lot of things that this thing was doing, and they didn't realize that a lot of it was racially insensitive. Ooh, it's terrible. And this is just the problem that I just kind of have with like a lot of these live action reboots of like cute, light, and fluffy things. It's because they make these unnecessary ass changes to the product. One thing we love the most about the Powerpuff Girls is that the family was amazing. It was a great family dynamic, and then you took that away because you wanted to make it more darker and grittier. I don't think it was necessary for them to change the professor's character to be like that. So they ended up making him this asshole of a character. Literally horrible father. He about as bad as Frank Mitchell from Moesha. All my black followers better understand that reference, because if you don't, go watch Moesha. I'm pretty sure it's still on Netflix. So they made him literally Frank Mitchell 2.0, but a lot of people don't seem to get how is that anti-black. Well, it wouldn't have been anti-black if they never changed the professor's, personality. They never changed who the professor was as a person. It ended up becoming anti-black because they ended up casting a black actor to play this very aggressive, horrible man. Like, basically, he was written to be a buck. Okay, I'm here again. Sorry for keep coming in and out, but I just want to elaborate that the main issue with the professor being portrayed like that is because he was the only black man in the series, to my knowledge, because when I looked, I did not see that there were any other black characters here. That was the main problem. And like I said, it was just extremely unnecessary for them to do this to him. But then they made him this horrible fucking person, and then they were like, oh, but we need diversity. Let's just cast him to be black. And no. And also, I want you guys to keep in mind that white people wrote this. Like, white people were the ones in charge of this. We're gonna get back to that later. In one of my African American studies class, we did learn a lot about the black buck, because we noticed with a lot of our media that we were consuming that, like, the portrayal of black bodies in our media, that a lot of the black men were written to be very aggressive, very mean, very violent, and they literally were doing that shit with the professors. Overall, the live action Powerpuff Girls reboot shouldn't have happened, but I really think that this change right here was just very much uncalled for. Like, if they still wanted to go for that dark and grittiness, the original Powerpuff Girls had that. Like, there were times in the series when the shit got really dark. They could have still done that, but they didn't have to go and do a whole fucking 180 on this one character that we have known since the 90s. And it's weird because they didn't really seem to change up the personalities, I'd say, of a lot of the other characters, because what they did was Bubbles. They basically low-key kind of made her like a Kardashian, Paris Hilton type. Blossom was still super duper smart, and they ended up doing that model minority bullshit with her by casting her actor to be Asian. We gotta talk a little bit about Buttercup, because a lot of people, I remember I saw this when it was first announced, because we were talking about how this casting is both colorist and anti-black. The reason it was colorist is because they casted a very light-skinned actor to play Buttercup, and the person that they have playing Buttercup is racially ambiguous to a certain extent. Now, moving forward from that aspect right there, we move on to Buttercup's character. For those of you guys who don't remember who Buttercup was, basically, we go to the things off of the Powerpuff Girls. It's Blossom, she's commander and the leader. Bubbles, she is joy and the laughter. Buttercup, she's the toughest fighter. Buttercup basically is labeled as the mean Powerpuff Girl. She's the aggressive one. That was not a smart move for you to cast a black woman to play that role right there, because black women are constantly pandered and annoyed and bothered by this fact that everybody likes to stereotype us as an angry black woman. It is actually very fucking harmful that so many people think this about us. And mind you, that black women have numerous reasons to be upset. I love the movie Diary of a Mad Black Woman. Yes, it's Tyler Perry. I love the film though, but so much of media, when they have only one black character in there, why is she always really fucking rude? Like, she's always really fucking weird and rude and gross and disgusting, and it's annoying. And that's just kind of how Buttercup's character was written in this script. She wasn't nice. She had a really bad fucking attitude, which I understood because she was placed in a horrible situation. Her dad fucking sucks. Everyone was on her ass about whatever. She was just tired and she didn't want much of anything to do with anybody. And I don't even really know how to go about the rest of this, because the entire script was just very much weird. But the way Buttercup was just written, it was just frustrating. And like I said, I feel like so many white writers need to go study critical race theory or do a study on black stereotypes in the history of Hollywood, because so much of the writing for Buttercup's character just felt heavily stereotypical of what we constantly see black women being portrayed as. And it was just tired, and it was just, I was over it. I was just, no. So that's why when I found out that the script was just too bad for the point that the CW didn't even want it, I low-key feel like they had an idea that they probably was gonna get some backlash on how they written so many of them characters, because so much of it was just uncalled for, so much of it wasn't needed. And mind you, if we're going to be doing modern retellings of older stories, like the Powerpuff Girls is like Y2K, I don't think we should have picked a story to race bend that was already hella anti-POC. I'm sorry, but the Powerpuff Girls has numerous issues with race. First of all, the show is white as hell. There's barely anybody that's black or not white on that production team. So many of the villains within the series are basically racist caricatures, and they think they can get away with it and that they get a pass for it because the villains are not human or they don't look human. It's honestly very much concerning. The Powerpuff Girls is not a series that we personally just need to bring that into, because the series alone has so many issues with race already. The show has so many issues beyond just race. Like, I do understand with these modern reboots and retelling that they honestly want to come in and fix the things that were lacking in the past, but as somebody that studies critical race theory for school, literally learning about the history of blackness in film, and not even just blackness, because we do learn about other races and ethnicities and all of that jazz from time to time. As somebody that is just fully aware of all of this, the Powerpuff Girls is just not a show that needs to be done with, because there's so many issues right there alone from the source material. This is not the series that I personally think these changes should have been made to. The professor's change of him being black, that was fine if they never changed the way his character was written. Buttercup, in my opinion, should not have been portrayed as black. I'm sorry, but that's just a character that really should not be played by a black girl unless you're gonna change up some things about her and make her a little bit more sensitive and soft, because black girls are constantly tired of being painted out to be the mean one, the aggressive one, the literal asshole in the room. The Powerpuff Girls is a show, like I said, it's white as hell, and then once the show finally stops becoming white as hell, it ends up becoming more anti-POC than it already was, and it just wasn't. Honestly, this year I have been reflecting a lot on the Powerpuff Girls. I love the Powerpuff Girls, I really do, but I also have come to the conclusion that the show's just not that good. It's not. There's a lot of episodes in it that are just straight up boring, and some are just really fucking bad. There's so many nasty undertones to it that's just beyond race, like homophobia and fat phobia especially. There's so many sexual innuendos in it. I'm just like, okay. This honestly is a series that I think is a product of its time, and we just need to leave it alone. Don't bring back the Powerpuff Girls, just leave it there, okay? We can keep cosplaying as it, we can keep drawing in the art style, because the Powerpuff Girls heavily inspires my art style. I'm not even gonna fucking lie. But this is something that definitely is a product of its time, and I think we need to leave it in the early 2000s. Because this live action reboot was proof that we just need to leave it alone. Just don't touch it no more. Let it be. Don't fucking touch it. But thank you guys so much for watching this. This was really just a rant. This was not scripted whatsoever. It was just some thoughts that I just had. And I was just like, I think I can speak about this now, because I feel like the live action reboot shit has died down. And mind you, I feel like people are always just gonna be complaining about live action reboots. Go watch something original. There's a lot of original shit that's coming out. Okay, go watch it. You don't have to watch these things, because I don't even think I really was gonna watch that live action Powerpuff Girls if it did like get greenlit. But also, I'm gonna be honest, what do I have to do in order to see that script? No, not the script, the pilot. I would love to watch that damn pilot. I'm not even fucking joking. Yeah, I'll be an asshole for a minute. I need to know what was in that pilot. I have to see it. I gotta see it. I'm sorry. Like, who I gotta blackmail at Warner Brothers in order to see this? I want to see it. I gotta see that pilot. I'm sorry. But thank you guys so much for watching. I know I've been gone for a minute. trying to get back in the groove of things. BumbleCon was a movie. There was so much that happened. Oh god. But follow me on everything at Hariana. All my cosplay and stuff over there, because a lot of you guys really be liking when I post my cosplays on my community tab. Yeah, go follow me on Instagram. I post them all over there. Have new fun things coming to shop in the months to come. Also have been updating my blog on my website too, harryanahook.com. You can still shop there, but the new stuff is coming later. Yeah, I have Patreon, by the way. Any little bit helps. Ko-fi donations, a little bit helps. You're not obligated to give donations, but they are deeply appreciated. Also take commissions. Okay, I need to actually go and do the scripted content that I have written down on my tablet, but I just needed to get this shit off my chest. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a good day, night, or whatever time of the day you're watching this.